Tool is for analyzing marketing text, and I'm going to show you in a bit what I mean by that and what techniques it uses, and we'll come back and check out the tool. So basically, when I say marketing text, it's basically a table that contains two columns. One of these columns is called text, which contains different types of things that might be available, and metrics or numbers describing that text. So here are some examples. Social media posts might be described by metrics like follows, retweets, and likes. Search keywords, they have impressions, clicks, and conversions. You can have article titles, video titles, page URLs, and each one of them might have an a certain number of numbers describing that text. So this is what I mean by marketing text. So the analysis, there are many ways to analyze text, but this tool focuses on two main techniques. The first one is extracting entities. We're going to extract certain either words or certain patterns of words that have special meaning, like hashtags, mentions, and emojis. That's going to help us figure out what's going on with that marketing text if those things exist in our data set. Another technique that we're going to be using, which I think is the more important one, is counting words. But since we have numbers that describe those words, we're going to be counting those words twice. Once in an absolute way and once in a weighted way. And the weight is going to be the numbers that we provide in our data set. Here are a few examples, so hopefully this is clear. So assume I have a YouTube channel, and I have just two videos there. One is about salsa and one is about tango. So if we simply count the words, you'll see that 50% of my channel is about salsa and the other 50% is about tango. Now, but if you look at the views, in other words, if you look at it from my consumers or from my audience's perspective, 90% of these people know me for my tango video, and only 10% of those people know me for my salsa video. So, you know, it's split 50-50 over here, but in terms of views, it's completely different. Here's another example. Assume I have a website that talks about French and Spanish cities. And if you just look at the content, you'll see that 80% of my content is about Spanish cities and only 20% of it is about French cities. But in terms of page views, it's the opposite. It's 80% for one French city and 20% of my traffic goes to the Spanish cities. So if you ask my audience, what do they know my website for? Most of them are going to say this is about French cities. So this is the importance of counting words twice in an absolute and weighted way. This is an article I wrote on SEMrush. Thank you very much for publishing it. It has code. It has, more details on how this is done if you're interested. But we're not going to do code. We're going to actually see how this tool works. So the first thing we have to do is upload a file. It has to be a CSV file. And it has to have two columns. One of them has to be called text, and the other one has to be called numbers. Now, you would know what these numbers are. The text here happens to be tweets, which we know, and the numbers here are the number of followers of the person who tweeted this tweet. So the first tweet was tweeted by someone who has 97 followers. This one has 46, and so on. So we want to see which are the words that were tweeted the most. And also we want to see which one had more impact, okay? These tweets were retrieved from the API of Twitter by searching for the keyword coffee, okay? Now, once we uploaded the file, you get to see it over here. This is the uploaded table. You can read them and see the numbers. It's exactly what we just saw. This is just a reference for you on screen, so you can compare if you want. Now, we're going to start by tokenizing by words. And the default is 1, so the words are going to be split as 1 words, but you can do 2 words and 3 words, and we'll see how this is done. Another important thing here is the stop words. You have a bunch of stop words here. These will just be removed because they're going to just create a lot of noise for you. And there's a bunch of languages here that you can select from. I suggest that you take a look at these keywords because most probably some of them might not make sense for you. You can edit them. You can add something here. You can delete something that doesn't make sense. For example, if you think across shouldn't be a stop word, you can just delete it. Okay? Now let's see what happens. We've uploaded the table. The file's name is called tweets.csv. We've made our selections here, and we're going to get the analysis. Now, these are the words split, and they're counted twice, once in an absolute way and once on a weighted frequency. So the absolute frequency is here, and the weighted frequency is here. Now, obviously, coffee is going to be the most frequent keyword, so I'm going to make this a stop word. Amp also looks like it should be a stop word, and I'm going to run this again. And so you see here which words have been used the most. So cup makes sense with coffee because, it's one of the top ones in terms of absolute frequency, but in terms of weighted frequency, these words were tweeted by people who have a total number of followers that's way larger than the others. You can, of course, sort. So like, drink, and cup are the top words in terms of as an absolute count, but in terms of weighted count, these are the top ones. Now, you might want to look at this from a lower resolution perspective. You want to say, give me 2 words at a time. And this way you get phrases: car roof of coffee, cup of my coffee, and you can see the same insights, hopefully. You can move to hashtags and see what are the most used hashtags in this data set. Okay, this hashtag was used only once, but that person seems to have 400,000 followers, and therefore it's probably the most impactful hashtag in this data set. The relative value is just simply this divided by this. So one occurrence of this gives you 400,000. One occurrence of this hashtag is 7,000. You can also see the mentions, which accounts were mentioned the most. So these accounts were mentioned once only, but this account was mentioned by someone who has 83,000 followers. So this mention had much more impact than these 10 mentions, because all the people who mentioned this person have a total of 24,729 followers. Emoji, finally, this usually takes a bit more time. Not much was used here, and it's the same analysis. You can export the table that you like. So if you like the hashtags one, you can submit it and export to CSV, and if you want to analyze more and do further analysis. Hope you like it. Thank you.